On the 24th of June, I came here because the property belonging to a company owned by my brother was being destroyed and pulled down illegally. And I said, what is happening? Eventually work was stopped. The court ordered even that work should stop, and it was stopped. But I noticed that on weekends they will come and continue the work. As you can see, the building, the land has been divided into two. They marketed it. A new fence has been built, you know, and they are busy clearing the debris to make it an empty land. And this is what is happening. And since that 6 weeks, I've been flying, appealing for people to show me who said he is the owner of the property so I can discuss with him. I've never seen the person, nobody have appeared. But people are working here every day. So you can see they've marketed it into two. You can see them working here.
This talk to be empowered, period. Not devil is that.
There's no talk. That's why the fact that nobody should work here. They continue to work here. The question is, what type of government do we have? What we are asking, what type of government do we have in this country where court will issue an order saying stop work and people are busy still working?
This is illegal construction.
You can see the tractors and everything. And these only happen during weekends.
They only do it on weekends. They don't do it on a weekday.
You know, it almost seems as if we're moving around in circles in this country. We're moving around like we're zombies in this country. I am stunned to my bones. And sometimes I even question whether people in Nigeria have anything that has to do with your right. Do you think the government of the day is protecting your right in any way? This is a governor, a former governor that had spent 8 years in office governing Anambra State. First, he came out and lamented that his youngest brother's land has been taken away by some faceless people. And then he is out again shouting that these people who have taken away his brother's land, he went to court and court stopped them from continuing work. That these guys now resorted to coming in just weekends to clear out the place, to even build fences across board. And I'm like, this is a governor. This is a former governor with all the paraphernalia of office, I mean, apart from even being a governor, he's a multi-billionaire. At least we know he didn't make most of his money being in government. He's a multi-billionaire. Like, he can live anywhere. He can live in Spain, in Germany, in Portugal, in USA, in England. He can practically live freely, do anything he wants to do with his money. Hey, God. Reduced to begging, practically reduced to begging. And I keep saying that, look, guys, it's not about these guys who are in power. It's not about Sanwo-Olu. It's not about Tinubu. It's not about Peter Obi. It's about we that are youths who still have at least, God's willing, another, say, 20, 30, 40 years. you talk about these people, I'm not sure a Peter Obi, a Sanwo-Olu, or a Tinubu would have another 30, 40 years to live on earth. I mean, if we're going to go by the natural scheme of things, people die first or something. I know that people can die anytime, any day, but if we're to go by natural things, these guys will be gone, you know, before us. But why do we allow these kinds of things to happen? Why do we allow injustice? You still have people who are supporting this evil, this injustice. And I'm using this opportunity to also call on Sanwo-Olu. Sanwo-Olu, dear governor of Lagos State, this is right under your nose. I mean, this is happening to a former governor. One day you will be a former governor. One day you would beg for something. A former governor, somebody who is your senior colleague in the governance thing. He has complained about this particular place. I think, where is the person who is faceless? The person is faceless, and a faceless person was given a court judgment in your Lagos State, and you have refused to do anything. It doesn't feel like anything to you to call out the judge who did what they did, to call out those who are involved. As a governor of the state, you're the chief security officer of that state. Imagine Peter Obi is not the kind of person he is. Imagine he was a northerner. I keep saying this thing. Imagine a Peter Obi was a former governor of Kano State, or a former governor of Bauchi State, or a former governor of Zamfara State. Would you be treating them like this? Would you treat him like this? Why are we so tribalistic? And this is coinciding almost with this renaming of streets that makes no sense. Like, you stand up one morning and then the next thing you want to do is they're taking over our land, they're taking over our houses, they're taking over our properties. Did your people sell those lands and they sell those property or not? And then the only thing you have in mind is to go and start renaming the streets. When you finish renaming the streets, will you rename their pockets? Would you also rename their plates? Would you also rename their bank accounts? Would you also rename their job offers? Or it's just about a certain tribe who you are scared of, are already preparing for 2027 elections, and the only way to, make them feel uncomfortable is by renaming streets? Why is black man's mentality this myopic? And Nigeria is the country with the most black people on earth. Like, we are the country that houses the most black people. We see what black people do across the continent. We see what black people do across the world, in Asia, in Europe, in the America, in Australia. And then we cap it with this nonsense we do here every day. That the man will stand up every morning, and what they are thinking of is how to not let the next man grow, how to rename his street, because the street sounds a certain tribe. Are you people mad? Is something wrong with you people? This is one of the reasons why sometimes when black people go outside the continent of Africa, they find it difficult to come back, because what the heck? What kind of life are we living on earth? Why are we like this? Who did this to us? And I'm like, are you? So imagine, okay, so somebody like me now, who's an ordinary man, who I never even smell any government appointment before. They never even give me even a PSA, SSA, anything, nothing. So if I own a property somewhere, somebody can just stand up, go to court, claim they are this, they have documents, be faceless, and then get into my land and start destroying my property or forcefully take it over. If this can happen to a former governor, two-term governor, guy, it is just a matter of time. It will get to you. Let's call a spade a spade. Let's not sugarcoat this thing. If you support these kinds of things, it would get to you. It's a matter of time. It is painful. It is debilitating. And by the way, to say this, for all those of you who be saying, no be Igbo, you support your Igbo brother now. It will shock you. I am not supporting Peter Obi for presidential election 2027. I'm not though. It will shock you. I am not supporting him. Let me bust your bubble. I am supporting the current president. And I will give you reasons, but not in this particular video. I'll give you the reasons why I'm supporting him. So let's push that aside for now. But I'm trying to address this issue. That, look, we must, as a nation, call a spade, and make sure that when an injustice is actually brought to the fore, we call it for what it is. We don't sugarcoat it. That's how a country can be better. Stop seeing things from the premise of tribalism. I know people will watch that video and say, oh, na Igbo man in B, what was my business? Na Igbo man in B, what's your business? These things, the so-called issues you may not even feel the consequences today. Maybe tomorrow, maybe next tomorrow, maybe in another year, maybe in another lifetime. For these kinds of things that we plant, for these kinds of things we allow to fester, for these kinds of things that we allow to gain roots in our lives, right under our very noses, guy, will be the one to pay heavily for it. The courts say they should stop work, and only for them to start coming every weekend. And they are faceless people. And then you have a governor who is there, who should take this as a priority, because this is right under your nose. Ikeja, center of Lagos. You can't do anything about it. And you are quiet. It's okay. This same thing can happen to a Yoruba man in Igbo man's land, though. It can. This thing doesn't have a place where it pinches. It pinches everywhere, per time. Gosh.